Hello, everybody. This is Karen Edwards with Roofers Coffee Shop. We're coming to you live from the International Roofing Expo, Day 2. The show is just about to close, and I'm being joined by the Roof Coating Manufacturers Association, Dan Quinones and Chadwick Collins, the Executive Director and Director of Technical Services.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Guys.
Our pleasure.
Wow, so coatings are so hot.
Yep.
In the last few years,
Yes.
they've just exploded and taken off. So talk to us a little bit about what you've been seeing and hearing from contractors at the show.
Sure. Well, this is actually an interesting opportunity for us to be here. This is the first year RCMA has a booth. And in doing so, we really get a chance to talk to contractors and hear what's going on and on their side of the things. We represent the manufacturers, so we also get an opportunity to talk to our own members. We don't normally get to see them. With COVID, we haven't had the chance to see them for close to 18 months now. So that really gives us an opportunity to hear what's going on and what's going on in the pulse of the industry and talking on different issues. So.
Well, it's good to be here,
Yes.
isn't it? And one of the reasons we've been doing YouTube Live is because we know that there are a lot of people that wanted to be here but they couldn't.
Yeah.
Whether it was their company's employer's decision or their own personal situation. So we wanted to do YouTube Live and bring a piece of the IRE to the folks that couldn't be here.
Nice.
And
Welcome.
I heard that you guys are launching certification
Sure.
Yeah.
program. Tell me about that.
We are. One of the initiatives we're doing on the technical side of things, and this was based on feedback from both our members, manufacturer members, as well as their customers, the contractors, that there needed to be some kind of contractor training program. And we started developing before COVID happened, but COVID quickly informed us that it really needed to be a virtually based training program. So it's like, what can we do virtually through a screen, on a device, and those kind of things. And so that helped inform the type of program we're developing. But really, at the end of the day, we talk to our manufacturers, and there's a lot of key things that are commonplace across all the product types, across all the different equipment or prep work and those kind of things. And so our approach is going to be creating a training program that addresses those commonalities, and then being very clear when we reach a point that the commonalities stop and they need to refer to specific instructions with the manufacturer, directions of a manufacturer. That's where we're going to say you need to talk to the specific manufacturer. And so that helps our manufacturers, because then they can, if they use our training program as a prereq for their training, they can get right into the depth of their products and the nuances of what is particular about their product offering. So that's really the approach we're wanting to take. The other thing is affordability. We know training is always an investment, and so we can make easily digestible virtual programs that are also affordable to either the individual technician or to their employer who's paying for that training. We wanted it to be cost affordable, so if there is any turnover, and of course, we always know labor is an issue, we don't want it to be cost prohibitive to train this new workforce.
I like the virtual format too because it is flexible, right? It
Yes.
allows the person to do it when they have the time, and they may be working during the day and training to learn the fundamentals of coding in the evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great, because you may not know it, but there's a lot more to it than just spraying the roof. Right?
That is absolutely true. It's not paint.
And I think that the coatings industry is also an opportunity for a lot of contractors because, and I'm not a contractor, but it seems to be an easier entry. It requires fewer high-end tools and expensive purchases. So it's pretty easy for somebody to get started.
Yes, I would say, and Chadwick can also elaborate on this a little bit more on the technical side, but I would actually think that what's really happened over the last few years, and especially right now, is the repairs that are made. You don't need to, tear down the entire roof when doing coatings. It's an opportunity to make easy, simple repairs to roofs. And if you're an existing homeowner or existing building or a property owner, you have to look at costs. And especially right now with COVID and the situation that was occurring, if you have to invest money in minor repairs, it's going to save them a lot more money. It helps extend the life of a roof over many more years, as opposed to have them spending a huge amount of money to put on a new roof. And that, with the existing structures, is a great way for contractors to find opportunities to make more money.
Yeah, like you said, the front-end investment on any kind of equipment that a contractor would have to make to get into the coatings market is pretty low compared to some other systems. I would also put out there that because of the unique nature of coatings relying on either the existing roof system as the substrate to be applied to or to the structure itself, Coatings is also a great way to introduce any new labor to all the different roof types, because regardless of the coating you're applying, you're interacting with another roof system that's out there in the marketplace. So in a way, you're also being able to use the application of a coating product as a teaching tool to teach them about all these different systems that you're applying a coating to, and what possibly led to the reason of needing to install the coating system. And it's not necessarily a failing of the product itself that exists there, but because maybe of an installation error or something else, non-maintenance, those kind of things. And so really coatings offers not only a gateway of low threshold entry into the market, but also offers an opportunity with the installation to expose a labor force to a lot of different roof systems, because you're applying coatings to these existing roof systems.
Yeah, there's also a big environmental sustainability factor
Absolutely.
by not tearing off that roof.
Absolutely.
And putting it in a landfill. So, and plus reflectivity, and white coatings.
And something that gets lost in that same vein is the response of our industry to VOC regulations. Our industry has done a great job. All the members of our industry have done a great job to respond to regulatory changes limiting the VOC limits on products. Recently, there was something that showed where a graph that showed they originally estimated a certain level of VOCs if they implemented regulations. A new study updated showed that we, as an industry, were actually below what they expected it to be with the new regulations. So, in a way, and that's a win for our industry, is that we not only met but exceeded the expectations of performance when it comes to VOC compliance.
Yeah, and just an interesting aspect of that, and back in, I'd say, in the early 2000s, most roofs and the roof coating companies were providing a black roof, and so very few had a product line of a white coating for a roof to help with reflectivity. I would say now every single company, if you want to compete in that marketplace, has to have a white coating, and that shows you how the market has changed, and it also shows how the coating industry has adapted to things like climate change and energy efficiency. The science has changed around it to make more energy efficient, and in that effort, it just helps our industry evolve, and that's something we've been doing.
Yeah. I just, every time you turn around, you just hear more and more about how wonderful coatings are. So
absolutely,
you guys are in a good association.
Thank you.
In the right place. So let's talk about your conference, the IRCC, which typically is every 2 years.
Yes.
So you've got it coming in 2022.
Yeah, we're very excited about this, and the last year, unfortunately, we had to cancel it because of situations and safety to our members. The hope is it'll be in Charlotte next year, and that brings together all our coating manufacturers do attend, but it also allows we bring folks from around the world to come and present interesting topics. And the last show we had a presentation from someone from Sweden, we had someone from China, we had someone from Turkey, and another gentleman from Australia came to speak about how coatings is impacting their sector of the world. And it was fascinating to just kind of hear the differences in how coatings is applied in Europe as it is opposed to the United States. So it is truly an international roofing conference for us, and it is a wonderful opportunity. We get to hear the latest technology. It gets our members get to present wonderful new technologies and topics, and we do it every other year because it is such a large show. We get a good number of folks that do come to present here.
It sounds like a great opportunity for the manufacturers to maybe consider, if they're not in a market internationally, that they might want to be.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we also get to hear, like I said, we had a fascinating speaker who came 4 years ago, from India, spoke about India and how the impact of white coatings is helping to cool their buildings in that country. Literally, they defined it as white coatings as a way of saving lives. And to hear that perspective was fascinating. To say, in the U.S. we don't think of it like that. It's a great use, but when you think about, some countries view white coatings as an opportunity to save lives in terms of cooling homes and saving energy. It's pretty fascinating.
That is wow.
Yeah.
That's a new way of looking at it. But I mean, roofs save lives.
Absolutely.
Protects our possessions, our businesses, our families.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important.
Yep.
Wow. The date of the conference, do you know that off the top of your head?
Right now, it's scheduled for mid-July. So I have more information. We're just figuring out the details. Hopefully, we're keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, that's a year from now.
Well,
just under.
Absolutely. I will say that Roofers Coffee Shop, our last show, did a contractor presentation, and they brought in you all brought in contractors from all around the country. We had about I think 5 at the time. Was so wonderfully I mean, folks were just fascinated. They loved hearing from the contractors. There's opinions, and your folks emceed it, and it was just such a great event. So we're looking forward to having you all back again.
Oh, that's fantastic!
Next summer.
Yeah, I know a lot of manufacturers really want that feedback and
they
that
do.
input from
We
their
do.
contractors.
Absolutely.
Because it helps them in their innovation and in their product development and bringing new things to market.
Absolutely.
These manufacturers work really hard with their research teams and testing, and they want to deliver the best product that they possibly can.
Absolutely.
And I know there's a lot of options out there, and this would take way too long if we got into all the different types of coatings. I'm sorry, technical person. We don't have time for that today. But tell me about if a contractor is wanting to learn more about coatings. Do you have resources on your website?
Yeah, one of the easiest resources we have is we do have some technical bulletins that offer general technical information about coatings. An example is we have a bulletin on cold weather tips. Obviously, dealing with cold weather and dealing with any kind of chemical, you have storage issues, you have installation issues, and maybe some extra prep things. So we do have a few technical bulletins on our website. We'd love for contractors to visit. I will inform the audience, we are in the process of actually updating those. We realized they needed to be looked at again. We're in the process, and in that we've identified some new topics. So we'll be having some new technical bulletins coming out in the short term and long term. We've got about a list of 20 topics we realized that we need to address with some kind of technical document. So that would be the key resource right now I would point contractors to, and of course look out for our training program once it launches at the beginning of the year.
Wonderful. So it sounds like contractors get that support from you, and then can turn to whichever specific manufacturer's product that they're installing for even more.
Absolutely. And the great thing about if contractors ask us questions, because we are an industry association, we also kind of get a wider scope. So instead of a specific question going to a manufacturer and getting answered by that manufacturer, and of course that's ultimately what we want them to get the answer. But if we start to see a trend of questions, and we're getting them in touch with the manufacturer, it gives us a larger sense of like, all right, this question's been asked 5 or 6 times. Maybe we should just go ahead and address it instead of asking it each time and answering each time. So contractors coming to us for those types of questions does help inform us of the things we need to provide to that community.
That's a very good point. Yeah, you got your pulse on what's going on out there with contractors. Is there anything else that you would like to tell our YouTube viewers at this point about?
Just say it's wonderful to be back, seeing all the contractors and our members again. It's good to see them all. It's been a crazy year and a half, I think, and we're looking forward to an exciting 2022. I do think that for the coatings industry, I forecast a tremendous growth and excitement for our industry, and I think that our contractors are going to benefit from that.
Excellent. So if someone is watching this and going to hit the show tomorrow, do you happen to know your booth number?
Sure, it's 3325.
3325, not too far away from
we're right around the corner.
Yeah, so stop by if you're coming tomorrow. Say hi to our friends from the Roof Coating Manufacturers Association, and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring the bell so that you get notified when we're going live, because we'll be doing this again tomorrow. Thank you all for being here, and be sure to visit RoofersCoffeeShop.com and look up the Roof Coating Manufacturers Association in our directory. There's a lot of information out there and links to the website to make it really easy for you. So, gentlemen, have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow on the show floor, and hopefully we'll see you.